Happy Wellness Wednesday.
Happy Wellness Wednesday.
Oh, listen to you writing the jingles now. Alex Parr filling in for Lou Ann Young, who's on vacation for a couple of weeks.
Must be nice. I wouldn't know, but you know who would know? Tim would know.
Why?
He got to go on vacation.
I worked for a year and 3 months before taking the vacation.
Yeah, it's my turn soon anyway.
When do you go on vacation?
Not this weekend, but next.
Really?
Yep.
Any plans?
Go to Toronto, go see some friends from college that I haven't seen for a year. Go hang out. Go live in the city for a few days.
Live in the city.
Go live in the city. Go Big Lights. That's where I belong, under the big lights.
You belong under the big lights. Mm-hmm. You should go work at the steel plant. It's Mutt's Day.
What?
Mutt.
Mutt, like a dog?
Yeah, like that. Do you own a mutt?
I used to.
Oh, did your dog pass away?
Yes, he did a few months ago. What a absolute adorable little cutie.
What was he?
A mix of a border collie and we don't know what else.
He was a mutt.
Yeah, he was.
How old was your mutt?
He lived till 13.
That's a good long life for a mutt.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple of mutts. And a purebred. What? No.
Me?
Have you been fixed? I'm gonna get Laura from the Humane Society. Is that her name? Yeah. It's not Friday, so I don't know her name.
Don't have to.
I only know her name on Fridays.
Don't have to.
I have 2 mutts. A Yorkie poo and a dog that's supposed to be a Maltese poodle, but they lied. Well, I didn't know. I got tricked. I bought her online.
Someone's pulling the wool over my boy's Tim's eyes, huh?
I bought her online.
Sorry, A-Dog was just kind of showing through.
A-Dog.
He was showing through there.
Puppyofmydreams.com. It doesn't exist anymore. It was a puppy farm and I didn't know it. They flew her to me on Air Canada Jazz and the whole story was like, oh yeah, no, our dogs are like raised by foster homes until they're ready to go and be adopted and stuff. And she was supposed to be a Maltese Poodle cross. I don't know. Maltese Poodle would be little. I should have called her Vegas. She's got legs like a showgirl. I don't know what the heck she is, but she's a mutt and I love her. Yeah. Anyway, so happy Mutt's Day to all you
mutts out there. I mean, all you beautiful people.
Heinz 57s. Hey, okay, what else can I tell you? Cameron Boyce, that 20-year-old Disney star, epilepsy.
Oh yeah, he seizure in his sleep.
That was the cause of death. They said he had an ongoing medical issue, but they didn't reveal what it was. Now we know.
I don't really know why that would have to be such a big secret. Epilepsy.
I don't know either.
Well, I guess let the family take their time. You know, that's not our position. We weren't there, so
I suppose so. Anyway, poor kid, 20 years old. Okay, here's the thing I never knew.
Okay.
I stumbled across this one yesterday. You know Melissa Etheridge? The singer Melissa Etheridge?
That sings this song that's called...
Come on, Melissa Etheridge was around in the 90s. Where were you?
I thought.
When were you born?
97.
Oh my God, I'm so depressed right now. Anyway, Melissa Etheridge is a rock and roll singer.
Okay.
Come to my window, I'll be home soon. You know that song?
No.
For heaven's sakes,
I have
Alex.
no idea.
So she's a lesbian.
Okay.
Okay, and she was married to a woman, as lesbians are wont to do, and they wanted kids, and so she needed a surrogate.
I remember you talking about this yesterday.
Sperm donor. So this is back in the 90s, probably before you were born. So she and her then partner, Julie Cypher, they started thinking about who they're going to be, who's going to be their baby daddy.
They had some good options.
So one of her friends was Brad Pitt. I can't picture Melissa Etheridge and Brad Pitt hanging out. This is before Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
Anyway, so Brad says, I'll do it.
Oh, cool.
And Melissa's like, okay. But then she said he really, really wanted kids, like really bad. Like he ended up having 6 with
oh yeah, they have.
With what's her name?
Yeah,
Angelina. They adopted a bunch, but anyway, story goes, she's like, no, I didn't want Brad Pitt because he just wanted a kid so bad. He was going to be really involved in it. I could tell. I didn't want to have to tell him you can't be involved in the kid's life.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad she took that into account.
So she went with option number 2, which was David Crosby from Crosby, Stills and Nash. Okay, so obviously she went for the music gene and not the looks gene in this one. So
well, how's her kid doing now?
I don't know. She got 2 of them.
Do you know she's talented? Or?
She got 2 of them with. Oh, I tore my sheet. There's 2. She had 2 kids with David Crosby.
Okay.
And then she had another anonymous sperm donor, and she had twins with that one. So I guess the kids, Bailey and something. Anyway, I just didn't know that she was considering having Brad Pitt's sperm. I've given that some thought myself. Oh. Donald Trump says that he doesn't want. I know. Donald Trump says he doesn't like paper straws.
Okay.
He says his campaign.
Oh my god. Me and Lou talked about this. Oh
His
my god.
campaign says liberal paper straws don't work. So they're selling 15 straws for $10.
Which is
Plastic.
150 times
They've
more.
raised $460,000 for his campaign selling plastic straws.
Well, at
If
least
anything is more ass backwards than that man, I don't know what.
it's only one of the few things on his website though that are actually made in the States. So I guess there's the silver lining.
Honestly. Speaking of, what do you call that? When you don't want plastic. Environmentally friendly things.
Recycling?
No, being environmentally friendly, like getting rid of plastics.
Okay.
Sobeys.
Hey, you know what? Big thumbs up to Sobeys for this one.
They are
Aiming.
Yeah. You pessimist. I said Sobeys is scrapping plastic bags. He says the headline says they're aiming.
Well,
May not happen.
Well, if it doesn't happen in 2020, I don't want your credibility to be ruined when they go. Do you remember that morning show back in what month are we in? July, last day of July, 2019, when Tim said this? Well, guess what? He was wrong.
Okay, Sobeys
Looking
is
out for you.
aiming to scrap plastic bags in all of their stores by 2020. That's a good aim.
That is fantastic.
What would you do?
I would not go to Sobeys and expect a plastic bag anymore.
So what would you bring with you? Would you bring are they gonna sell paper?
I would
wonder.
assume they would sell paper, and that's probably the most effective thing to do, just because those.
It's so funny how this world is going too. We're going back to paper at a time like we shut down a paper mill here because nobody was using paper anymore, and now everything's gonna be paper.
Fire
again.
up the machines. We're headed back to work.
We can't. It's a restaurant.
Get them out of there.
No, I like Mill Market and the machine.
paper to be made.
Mill
Chop, chop.
Steakhouse and the machine shop. I'd rather have a. What is it? What's the little? They have where you go for gelato.
How was I going to guess that from? The little gelato.
They got everything in that place now. They got a little gelato place. They got the pizza oven.
Coffee?
They got the.
I think they have a coffee.
They do
place now
too.
Huh?
Machine shop, like it.
You gotta make some paper though.
Do you bring anything with you in the mornings at all, or do you just sit there?
Yeah.
You know, when Luann co-hosts the show with me, she usually does something.
I usually just like sitting here and looking in your eyes. No,
Knock it off.
that wasn't good enough today.
What about Beyonce?
Okay.
Luann always talks about Beyonce.
Okay.
If Luann's watching, she's watching. This one's for you, Beyonce. She went on a Coachella diet.
Oh, what?
Okay, before her Coachella
So
2018.
like pizza and water?
No, are you ready for this one? She didn't consume bread, sugar, dairy, meat, fish, or alcohol for 44 days.
What?
What does that leave behind? You know what it leaves behind? Mung beans.
Hey.
Truly, she went on a plant-based diet.
Okay.
You're only supposed to do it for 22 days, this diet. It's her personal trainer, Marco Borges, B-O-R-G-E-S, Borges, I don't know, Borges. Anyway, Marco and Beyonce, as if she isn't rich enough now, they're marketing this diet together. $18 a month or $130 a year for her Coachella diet. And critics are saying it's a little too extreme. You could be lacking B12 and iron-rich foods. Young women risk anemia if you do this.
You can take vitamins though to get your.
It's too restrictive. Also, what?
You can take vitamins to get whatever you're missing though, no? I'm sure Beyonce's got a little bit of pocket change.
Well, this is what they're saying also is that Beyonce has all of these people around her who make sure that she stays healthy. Although on the making of the Coachella, like she did a Coachella video, getting ready for the performance, whatever, backstage her life, she at one point says she's hungry. See, and they're saying, you're hungry. That means your body is telling you to eat, and you're hungry means you're denying your body. She also made a remark about her post-twin body was depressing her, and people are saying that's body shaming. And
she's talking
she weighed
about her own body.
175 pounds when she started, though, this diet. Doesn't say what she ended up. I was amazed to think that Beyonce weighed 175 pounds.
That's not healthy weight, though.
Well, baby's got back.
Baby's got back. Baby's got back for sure.
Did my guest show up? Well then, okay.
I hope you like me.
We don't know what happened to our first guest, so I'll just move on to Alex. What are we going to show?
We're going to show the promo that we did with me and Dave about the Game Sports Show.
Wait, tell who Dave is.
Dave McKeag. Well, he's got a new show on TV Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30. A new sports show.
Where'd he come from, though?
Where'd he come from? He's got his own podcast. He's been doing that for 4 years.
How many followers did he have before us?
I'm not sure, but since joining us, that page has grown exponentially. So that's been super cool to see. So if people are liking it, people are watching it. I'm just saying, maybe it's something you'd be interested in.
So did you interview him?
I interviewed him.
And we're going to show that next?
We're going to show that next. So,
do you do the show with him?
I do the show with him. Yesterday I didn't because I was working a 6 to 2, but every other episode I've been on. So
okay, I'm going to watch this interview.
You better. And you better. Right after this.
Got something going. I think it's terrific. No hot pets. That's what it's called. You know what it's for? It's for dummies that leave their pets in the car. If you see this and you're walking by and you see a pet in a hot car roasting away, the windows up, you call the police or call the SPCA and they'll have somebody there quick. Don't let our pets die in the car. Get involved.
Welcome back to the morning show where, since I've been hosting for a little bit now, I get to bring in some guests that I'd like to speak with and maybe, plug some of our own stuff. So I brought in Dave McKeag, who's now featuring a brand new show on TV Tuesdays at 6:30, but he's been doing so much more. So we got to get into it. Dave, quickly, thanks so much for coming on the show.
How you doing, brother?
Great. So thank you for taking some time. I know you're going to work as soon as you get out of this interview.
Yeah.
So let's make this quick and concise. Let's do this nice and easy. First off, the Game Sports Show.
Yes.
What even is it? Tell us.
The Game Sports Show is a Twin Sault's only local, regional, national sports show. Must make sure I put in the statement line there.
Of course.
However, the show started originally as Coffee with the Coach across the river, and then it originated in 2015 where we got from McDonald's. We started from McDonald's across the river,
Right.
myself and Scott Nason, who I say is the true heartbeat of the show, in my opinion, and transitioned from McDonald's to the Wicked Sister, and we were always on Eagle 95.1 at that time, and it transitioned over to Sioux, Ontario, where I was recording out of a cell phone. In 2015, myself, Dustin Grondin, Justin Heichel, Dane Hancho, who was here throughout the hockey season with us, and amongst other friends of mine that were there at the time as well, we're talking sports out of a cell phone, football, hockey, local, everything. And now I'd like to say since 2015, I think we definitely made some turns since.
Well, you've welcomed me on the podcast, so I can definitely say they're not using a cell phone anymore. They've got an audio board. They got really nice microphones. So definitely a big change from 2015
Yes.
to now.
Yes.
But was there ever a point when between 2015 and now where you thought, you know what, maybe this isn't going the direction I want it to? Maybe it's time to give up, take the hat off, and just go about, working your normal 9-to-5 job?
That's a very good question. I can remember actually leading into 2015 that I was going through a lot of personal issues myself with mental health, battling mental health, and I wanted to get my career aspirations and path, and always doing a sports show was something that I desired to do. And getting into with Coffee with the Coach at the time, which is now the Game Sports Show, as I mentioned, but one of my mentors, Paul Van Wagner. He was junior across the river. You've heard him on 99.5. You've heard him on Eagle 95.1. He was someone that said, David, just come and be a part of the family here. Get involved within the Sioux High Blue Devils hockey, and then you'll transition to a sports show. So that happened. And when 2015 rolled around, when I was doing it out of a cell phone, I was really happy with myself. I was very excited. I ended up being very proud of what I was doing. And then my career job in terms of full-time money started coming into place, where I started at OLG before I transitioned to the Sioux Area Hospital. And there was a time though in the radio where, you know what, yes, I was going through my personal issues, but I was also very easily down about how the show was progressing.
Okay.
And in Sioux, Ontario, the results, I wasn't pleased with the results at first. And I knew I had to enhance the listener and the viewer entertainment. So recording out of a cell phone wasn't going to cut it. Having 5 individuals on a panel with having to pass a phone around without getting their first couple sentences in aren't going to cut it. When you're the Twin Sault's only local regional national sports show, I wanted to keep that name. I wanted to have this market. I wanted to be the individual that people can trust. I know there's a lot of good other sport outlets in town.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of them have supported and been on the show previously. But I knew I needed to grow that way, and I went home one night and said, I'm going to buy a microphone. I'm going to buy a new laptop. I'm going to download the Audacity program that we use, and I'm going to enhance our audio quality, and I wanted to bring in some guests. So I reached out to Connections, and we ended up getting some big guests. Paul Maurice, Joe Bowen, Colin Miller, Craig Hartsburg. Craig Hartsburg was actually a part of the show as a casual analyst now, which absolutely amazes me. And
Which is on Sioux Online's YouTube channel?
yes, it is. And Brendan Brooks, another former professional hockey player who's on our staff as well now. Andy Frost. And there's just, the list has grown. I knew I needed to get those big pieces. And everything's networking and marketing. When everything's on social media and everything grows, and then when you have those big stars or big names on there and they retweet it or they repost it, it just drives listeners. And that's when I knew I had to get to that point, or else it would have been time to cut it.
And when you got these big guests on for the first time, was that when you know, I've got something here?
That was, sure, you think you have credibility in that respect, that you have that, but I also knew that I got some of those guests because of connections that I got while playing hockey.
Okay.
And also just in my short life in radio, where I also did some plugging with the Summer Cruiser with Rogers. So you meet connections and you grow. But that's where I knew that I was actually living my passion because I was happy I was doing it. It wasn't the fact that I was getting a guest and that I was going to get a lot of listeners from it, and especially with the Paul Maurice show, which is our most highest listener rate to date. It's just that when I was talking to them, or when I was talking to those guests and talking about something I love doing, that's where I knew that this is what I was doing, and that's where I knew the show was going to grow, because it was something I loved and something that I knew that I could grow.
It's so obvious that you love it, too. The passion that you're speaking with about the show is great. But 2015 with cell phones, the 2019 with multiple podcasts, the radio show,
Yes.
the TV show now.
Yes.
Can you say you've made it, or is there still something else you want to do before you can officially say, you know what, I'm happy with everything that we've done?
To be honest, I still want more. It sounds greedy, and that's fine for me to say, but we have our shows Monday 6 to 8 live. We're obviously here on Tuesdays at 6:30, Wednesday at Sports Center, then Thursdays at Northern. However, Thursdays have now moved to Sundays just for the summer months outside of Pier 55. So obviously we're busy with a lot of shows, and you can follow our website, thegamesportshow.com, and Facebook and Instagram at The Game Sports Show to keep track of everything that we upload. However, we obviously announced a big partnership.
Yes,
And
that's what I was getting to just now.
Yes, the big partnership that we announced just earlier this week, that we've now partnered up with Sovereign Communications, which obviously is known as now as ESPN. We've now partnered with that. So when someone would have told me 5 years ago that, Dave, you're going to be not only working with Sioux Online on TV or having all these sponsors, but ESPN is going to come up to you and ask you to air your show, do your show, that is where you know that you're starting to continue to grow. And I have my own media idea that I hope to grow by the spring to help enhance the community in terms of the curriculum with the schools and ideas. But I love how Sioux Online is being involved with that, and ESPN. So I have still more that I want to do, but I'm more excited to have the presence with professional teams.
Right. So this ESPN deal, they actually reached out to Scott, correct?
Yes,
So
Scott
that means they
Mason.
must have heard the show.
It was Sovereign Communications that reached out across
Yes.
the river. That's the direct line here in Sioux, Michigan, Sioux, Ontario. And that's how they reached out. And Scott talked to myself, Butch, and EJ, which is the members are across the river. And we ended up getting the offer where they basically said, we want to have a strong presence with the same show that you have Mondays, but we also want to have a bigger presence in Sioux, Ontario. So we're going to have live content on our Wednesday and Thursday shows. We're going to try to work that out, what the date's going to be specific, so we'll let our viewers and listeners know with that. But we're going to have that presence now. We're not just more local. We already obviously work with the Greyhounds, the Lakers, and the Thunderbirds, and Sioux Eagles, all those teams. But I'm excited to be able to, now we have EJ, who's going to be doing analytics in Ohio, who's going to be doing analysts with Columbus and Cleveland and the Browns and everything. Butch is in Detroit. Scott's going to be covering Detroit. I can be in Ontario covering the Toronto and Ottawa sports scene as well. So it's just that presence that we have the market here locally, and now we've expanded in the nearby area.
So what is this partnership, quickly too, because we're running short on time,
Yes.
what is this partnership with ESPN going to allow now for the show?
The show, it's going to allow that more live on air time. More opportunity for listeners to view us at different times on different media bases in terms of Facebook or social media of such. That presence with sport and events in town, locally, or outside in the professional. And it's also just having the extra credentials with the show as well. You know, to have the Game Sports Show be partnered with that and to have that name beside us along with the great names that we have already with like yourself with Sue Online on NTV and everything, it's fantastic. But I will always remember who helped me get there as well, and Eagle 95.1 helped us with the startup, you know, but we're also very excited to have this new partnership.
Now, Dave, before I let you go, what would you say to someone maybe on the fence, someone that's a local sports fan that says, you know what, maybe this is a good idea, but I'm just not sure if I want to go through and actually reserve that time for the show?
There's a lot of opportunity to listen to the show live, or if you wanted to listen to it on the internet, or on demand. There's so many options you can listen to it. But if you're on the fence about listening to the show, I want everyone to remember that we are the only sports show in town that has all those media platforms. And obviously, I mean that in a respectful way, saying that. So we want to cover everything local. So if you enjoy hearing local content, we have that. Professional, we have that. And if you also want to be a guest yourself, we have fan guests that we like to put on the show. There's a lot of opportunity for the show and for the listeners and viewers. You just have the opportunity on the platforms to listen to us. And if you're on the fence about listening, don't be, because we provide such a realistic feel. We don't really follow a script. We know what we're talking about though, but we want to keep everything real and relatable as possible. And that's where we take pride on the Game Sports Show, and we promise that we'll keep you entertained.
Big things coming for the show. I'm just excited that I'm a part of it. And Dave, I got to thank you for the opportunity.
Brother.
Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely.
More mornings, Luann and Tim, right after this.
Booyah.
Melly, did you know that the Bush Plain Heritage Center is celebrating 30 years this year?
Wow, great for them. Did you know that if you're at the Bush Plain Museum, that you're only 12 minutes and 7 seconds away from Maitland Ford Lincoln?
Really? Maitland Ford, it's closer than you think.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to them. Children of the night. Alive! It's alive!
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
Wait, what? Okay, so Tim asks me if I snore when I'm sleeping, just before we came on.
I said, do you snore?
I said, how do I know? I'm sleeping.
I said, did you ever wake yourself up snoring?
Nope.
I have. You've never like gone,
No.
Well, that was loud.
No.
Yeah, I've done that. I've scared myself.
No, for me, it's more like I'm dreaming that I'm falling and like.
Oh, I don't like that one.
Yeah, I did that once. I dreamt that I was falling.
And then?
I hit the floor. I fell off the couch.
Okay, you were telling me a story. What's
So-
your story? I asked him, I said, what did you bring for today? He said, I want to see your honest reaction.
So before the break, we were talking about how Beyonce's, doing that extreme diet, right?
Yes.
Well, do we know who Joey Chestnut is?
No.
Joey Chestnut is the professional hot dog eater that you see all the time. He's won 12
I don't
times
see
in a
him
row.
all the time.
Well, you win the
I've never seen him.
Oh, really? Well, we
No.
have a video, so maybe it'll recognize you when we
There's
use
a
the
video?
Yeah, so he's a 12-time
Oh, wait.
12-time hot dog eating champion.
Okay.
But this time he took his talents to chicken wings. So yesterday there was like a $15.99 thing at Hooters for all you can eat wings. He started his day at 11 and it ended at 5:50. How many wings do you think he ate?
11 in the morning till 5:50 p.m. That's how many hours? 6 hours?
Oh, excuse me. By 5:50 he ate 250. How many? Well,
You just told me.
that kind of gives it away. Right
412.
there. Yep. Wait. It actually changed to 413. But he spent an entire day there. A guy that can eat 71 hot dogs in 10 minutes ate 413 chicken wings in one sitting over the span of 8 hours.
I feel nauseous.
How do you do that? I think Beyonce should try that diet.
Oh my gosh. What was he drinking with it?
Water usually is what they used to wash it down with.
So, did you say he's a professional hot dog eater?
Yes. Do you want to know what his net worth is?
Okay, first of all, you've already killed me this week by telling me about the 3-year-old girl from China who bought a $10 million home because she tests toys on the internet. Tell me how much a professional hot dog eater makes.
This is more reasonable in comparison to that because that girl makes like 2.4 million pounds per month. This guy's worth 1.5 million, but he's a professional eater. So I mean, they said like top competitive eaters can earn about 500,000 pretty easily in a year through sponsorships and competitions. So tomorrow's morning show, guess what? 50 Beyond Meat burgers from Tim Hortons. We're gonna do it. Me and you, Tim.
I have no idea that that's a thing that people live off of eating. I mean, we all live off of eating.
This guy here.
I have to go to commercial and reassess my life. I've done everything wrong.
We're gonna come back and there's just gonna.
I didn't test toys. I didn't eat hot dogs. Okay, the news is next. Wait, there was something in the news we're going to talk about. Remember before the show I said, you talk about that in the news, we should talk about that. Oh, Alex, you're just...
I was going to say the plastic bags, but I don't think that's it.
That was in the news?
No, it wasn't.
I have to wait to see what's in the news is next.
I guess we'll have to wait and find
out what the news is, and then we'll talk about it after.
That's how we hook them. That's how we get them. Oh, what was that again? Oh, you'll find out right after this commercial break.
Boop. Oh, KC Security, thank you for sponsoring our show. We'll be back in a minute.
I'm doing whatever it takes, stopping at nothing, I'm up in your face, shaking it off, no matter the cost, I'm feeling the wind, I'm taking it all, I'm paving the way with the sweat and the blood, I'm at the top, rising above, I want the gold, give me the rush, Queen Midas, I got the touch. I'm pushing, 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 I'm pushing.
Housed in a 15,000 square foot custom manufacturing facility built to produce world-class cabinetry at surprisingly affordable prices, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry brings your project from initial concept to final design. Proudly providing Northern Michigan and the Algoma region with quality hand-built cabinetry for the past 20 years. Located at 844 East 3 Mile Road, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry, making your cabinetry dreams come true.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
We begin the day with a fire that was discovered at a commercial residence on McNabb Street. On TV, employees saw the building around 6 a.m. at 373 McNabb Street, which is home to the Natural Health Center and All-Star Trophies. The building has experienced extensive damage with multiple fire trucks on scene with the command unit to try and contain the flames. McNabb Street is closed from Allard to Pine Street while crews investigate. We will update this story as we learn more. Yesterday, the University of Ottawa Refugee Hub visited Sault Ste. Marie to deliver an information session about the renewal of its successful refugee sponsorship program called the Blended Visa Office Referred Program. Under this program, the UNHCR identifies refugees to come to Canada, and the Canadian government and sponsor groups share settlement costs. All refugees sponsored to Canada undergo rigorous security, legal, and health checks. Back in 2018, the fund supported 150 groups in 49 Canadian communities who together sponsored over 650 refugees. Currently, there are over 1,000 spaces yet to be matched for arrival in 2019. On TV dropped by the information session.
The Bevo program, I think we have a bit of a... Yeah, so I'm at the Civic Centre in Sault Ste. Marie, and I came here to talk to local sponsors, the local immigration partnership and the settlement sector here, as well as city members to talk about our Bevo fund, which is a fund that covers the cost of settlement for sponsors who want to settle refugees into Sault Ste. Marie. And there was quite a lot of interest, and hopefully we'll see some sponsorship groups here in the Sault. Tomorrow I'm off to Thunder Bay on the world's smallest plane, and I'll be in PEI after that. But also people from our program have travelled out to the Maritimes, from Antigonish to Cape Breton to Halifax and St. John's. We're also out at the moment in BC in the Okanagan. We'll be going to Victoria. We've been to Saskatoon and Winnipeg. So we're really trying to reach every single province. Our goal this year is to have sponsorship in every province. So we're working on it. We'd like to see New Brunswick and PEI come to the table, and we think sponsorship could really be a great step for those provinces. And then we have other provinces like Ontario and Nova Scotia, who are really leading the charge and showing that there's a lot of capacity and will to do sponsorship. Yeah, well, there's a lot of communities in Canada who have issues with retaining populations and keeping people engaged, and we're seeing that bringing families into your community, especially families who are being resettled, have a really positive impact on your local economy, on the schools, and on your community. And especially private sponsorship, it's this wonderful kind of community building practice where you can get to people together in your community from all walks of life, whether it's through your church or whether it's through your workplace, your school, and bringing people together to provide what we call the Canadian hug, that kind of first welcome, participation in a family or an individual's move to your community has enormous benefits for both the newcomers but also your local community and seeing it thrive. The face of sponsorship in Canada is really changing. Traditionally, I think a lot of people are aware that in the 70s, church groups across Canada came together to form sponsorship groups for boat people who are fleeing Vietnam and East Asia. And since then, we've seen a lot of new styles of sponsorship, whether it's local neighborhood groups who are getting together, whether it's employees at a workplace, whether it's a sports group, whether it's a diaspora group, whether it's people who've been sponsored themselves themselves who are now sponsoring other people because they.
These are serious allegations. We need to get to the bottom of it. It represents a pattern of behavior where this Prime Minister has attempted to silence those who would criticize him. Yesterday, he was asked the question. He attempted to defend it by saying very similar words to what he said when we heard his defense of the SNC-Lavalin scandal.
Conservative MP said Tuesday the Liberals are trying to cover up an alleged attempt to pressure former diplomats into clearing public comments on China with the government. In the aftermath of an emergency session of Parliamentary Committee for Foreign Affairs, opposition leader Andrew Scheer accused the government of systematically trying to silence his critics.
Diplomat, they hold
Short
that
of anything
position.
that breaches the Official Secrets Act, they have every right and every responsibility to contribute that expertise to the Canadian public. By the same token, any time that the PMO, the Prime Minister's office, is invoked, then clearly anyone in the public servant knows what is implied by leveraging that title, and that it is a way of communicating a severity and a seriousness to the conversation, and that they would like you to behave in a certain way.
Donald Trump has a vision of how to win, and he's gotten out there and done it. He said if there's something wrong in your life, if your life is not working, if you're under a lot of economic pressure, blame them. Blame people who don't look like you, blame people who don't sound like you.
The Democratic candidates for president clashed in a debate that laid bare the struggle between a call for revolutionary policies and a desperate desire to defeat President Donald Trump. Night 2 Wednesday in Detroit promises for more of the same.
What's wrong right now is that we have a government, we have a Washington that works great for the wealthy, for the well-connected, for the people with money. It's just not working for anyone else. But in a democracy, we got a chance to change that, and that's what 2020 is all
All right,
about.
thanks so much.
Here is the irony, and I hope everybody in America knows this. We right now in Detroit, Michigan. You and I can take a walk. In 15 minutes, we'll be in Canada. In Canada, when you have major surgery, which would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in this country, in Canada, you don't take out your wallet. In Canada, you can go to any doctor you want, any hospital that you want. Meanwhile, in this country, we have over 80 million people who are either uninsured or underinsured, and that has everything to do with the fact that the drug companies and the insurance companies last year made $100 billion in profits. The function of healthcare is to provide quality care to all, not to see the drug companies and insurance companies make billions in profits.
Thank you.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatsioux.ca.
As a nation, Canada has participated in all of the major world conflicts. In the Sioux area alone, over 10,000 men and women have enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces. The Veterans Commemorative Monument aims to cement the legacy of the Canadian Armed Forces in stone. It will highlight the bravery, strength, courage, and sacrifice of our servicemen and women. In times of need, they volunteered to serve us. Now it is our time to thank and recognize their sacrifice. You can help honor our men and women of service by donating today to help construct this special one-of-a-kind monument. Visit thosewhoserve.ca to find out how to donate and more.
It's not always this obvious when young people need help. For 30 years, we've shown up for youth. With your donation, you can too.
So I was looking at Twitter for some, stories and stuff to see what's going on, and I came across this very startling image. Now, I know that you're very young.
Okay.
Does this name mean anything to you? Barry Manilow.
I've heard the name before.
Okay, so Barry Manilow is a huge musical star.
Okay.
I write the songs that make the whole world. I mean, he just had his #1 hit. Okay, remember this song? You deserve a break today, so get up and get away to McDonald's. He wrote that. Anyway, he wrote a whole bunch of commercial jingles. He was Bette Midler's piano player when she performed in the bathhouses in New York at the beginning of her career.
That's pretty cool, actually. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, oh Mandy, you came and you gave without. Okay, so Barry Manilow is this musical icon in the 70s and 80s and 90s too. Came out as gay very late in life. I think he waited for his mother to die. He was never anybody who was very supportive of, he just didn't come out. He wasn't comfortable being a poster boy for. Okay. Anyway, so now here's what happens. I'm looking through Twitter and I see Randy Rainbow. Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I'm really hurting you today,
What do you do? What do you do?
I watch sports, Tim.
Honest to
Stop
Pete.
yelling. Do you know who? I can't even think of a fake
Phil
sports
Esposito.
name.
Yes, I do.
Tony Esposito?
Absolutely.
Good.
There's a park named after them.
Yes.
Despacito, Phil and Tony Esposito. There's a park just down the street, named for Phil and Tony Esposito.
That was pretty good. Just coming off the top of the head. I'll give you that.
No, I wrote that a long time ago. So anyway, I see a picture of, Randy Rainbow there they are. Randy Rainbow's on the left, okay?
Okay.
He does a political comedy, musical vignettes on YouTube. He's a YouTube star.
Okay, cool.
Okay, the guy on the right,
Barry Manilow.
Used to be Barry Manilow. I don't know what the hell. Barry Manilow, what did you do to your face?
Did you run full speed into a pane of glass?
He looks like a marionette. He looks like a ventriloquist puppet. Barry Manilow, what have you done? And you know what? Pulled a little too tight on the right-hand side of his face because it goes up a little higher than the rest. That's too much work. I mean, he farts, his dentures click. He is pulled very tight. He crosses his legs, his mouth snaps open. Barry Manilow had too much work done. There's a little winch back there. He just turns it and gets tighter. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You know what else you shouldn't do?
What?
Marry your dog. You know what else you shouldn't do? Marry your dog on live daytime television.
Wait, there's someone marrying their dog? That can't...
There is somebody marrying their dog. Now, I thought we did daytime television wrong, but this person is definitely...
Is that the woman who married her dog?
Elizabeth says she is tired of getting her heart broken by men. So, you know what? Screw men.
No, don't screw men.
Marry your dog. So she married her dog. Now, I don't know how...
She can't...
Yes, I don't know how real this is because...
Okay, the thing about it is, when you marry somebody, the marriage isn't binding until there's, what do you call that? You have to...
Consent?
No, there's a word for it, and it starts with a C. When you have to consummate. We just used that word the other day.
Yeah, we did.
We said consummate. No, you have to consummate a marriage to make it binding.
When you marry,
you can actually get an annulment with somebody if you haven't. She can't consummate that marriage because then she'd be breaking the law because that's bestiality.
And what I thought you said, when you marry somebody, there was like a requirement, right? Yeah, it has to be somebody, not a dog.
You can't marry a dog.
But this is kind of what makes me feel like it's probably not as real as they're trying.
Real.
There was a Big Brother contestant, an X Factor ex-contestant, and a winner of Love Island, all a part of that set. The Love Island winner was the best
They
man.
just announced that.
Yes, so
the Love Island winner was just announced, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't
You
follow
watch
reality
that show. I know
television.
you don't watch anything but sports. I know.
No, I don't really watch reality
Unless
television
they play
either.
baseball on Love Island, he's not watching it.
But I mean, if you're gonna have that many reality television stars there, that kind of makes me feel like it is faker than Barry Manilow's face. Look at that.
Okay, we have today's show. We had two guests who were sort of tag teaming, and I guess they didn't remember. So instead of showing
more Alex, that's right.
Yeah,
you wanted more of it. We got you more of it.
Last week, while I was out of town on vacation, I was working out of town, Alex did an interview with my friend Helen Kwolek from Algoma Public Health, because there's a lot of stuff going on with people getting injured, slips, trips, and falls, and this is to tell.
Yeah, I mean, 4 to 5 seniors that are going to the hospital are going there because they're falling. So there's obviously something that we've got to do. And
so we're going to
Helen came in so prepared. She's got so many tools to make sure that even you yourself, if you got elderly parents or anything of the sort, to make sure you're going to keep them on their feet and as safe as an environment, as a home as possible.
We're going to rebroadcast that because it was so fantastic, and enjoy it after this commercial break.
See you then.
Since 1899, the Machine Shop has been a unique space for innovation and creativity. Once a leading pulp and paper company, the Machine Shop was built by Francis H. Clerg, which later became part of St. Mary's Paper in 1984. After the closure of St. Mary's Paper in 2011, the Machine Shop spent 4 years vacant. In 2015, the Machine Shop reopened their doors to the community for the first time. From weddings to galas to concerts and festivals, the one-of-a-kind venue has something for everyone. We are proud to work with the community and local nonprofits to host major events such as Festival of Trees, Pearls and Plaid, an evening at Hogwarts, and more. While you're here, wind down at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar for a quiet dining experience, or watch a game and try a wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room. Don't forget to save room for house-made gelato and baked goods at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop events, history, and restaurants, visit machineshopinc.ca. 3 great places, 1 historic venue.
They served to protect our homes. Now many are homeless. They fought for our way of life. Now many are fighting personal battles of their own. They answered the call for our country. Now we honor them by serving our communities. Help us help Canada's veterans. Become a Legion member today.
Welcome back to the morning show. And if you saw a recent article released, not with new information though, I'm learning now, that seniors are, one of the leading causes for them making trips to the hospital is falling. And unfortunately, that's just a common thing that's happening. But Helen's here to make sure we can do everything in our possible realm of reality to make sure that we keep them on their feet as much as possible. So Helen, thank you so much for coming in. We really do appreciate this.
You're very welcome.
So first off, how did you get involved into the Algoma Public Health and wanting to help with seniors, keeping them standing up?
Well, I'm a public health nurse that works at Algoma Public Health, and I work in the Stay on Your Feet strategy. So this is a strategy that spans the Northeast region. So that includes the 5 public health units in the north: Algoma, Sudbury, North Bay, Timmins, Temiskaming, and Parry Sound. And we all work together with the Northeast LHIN in trying to promote the Stay on Your Feet message. So the message is simple. It's stay active, stay independent, stay on your feet.
Right, and those are all three great things, three really, really important things when it comes to the overall health of anybody, but especially seniors. So when did you guys know that this plan needed to be something that needed to be made and something that you knew can make a difference in people's lives?
Well, we've known that seniors and older adults have a greater chance of falling, and the statistics, as you know, as you mentioned from the report, have shown that a lot of seniors are hospitalized, make visits to the emergency room because they've had a fall.
Was it 81% of seniors that fall, which is about 4 out of 5, are going to the hospital because they're falling?
Exactly, exactly. And when we look at where they fall, we see that 28% of falls happen in their home. 14% happen in institutional care. So a lot of homes can be made more safe in hopes of making them preventable falls.
And some of the things that you've come across in the homes for being dangerous, or maybe some precautions people can look forward to look and see what they can do to help, what are some of the things that you guys have come across?
Well, in our strategy, we've worked really hard to put together what we call a home safety checklist. And the home safety checklist actually goes through every room in the person's home, and you can go through it and analyze your home and see whether or not there are areas that you can improve. So every room, including the bathroom, the living room, even your outside, your porch, your walkways, your garage, places you may not think could be a hazard for falling, are all included in the home safety checklist, which is available free. You can come to the health unit, or you can call and have one mailed out to you. So it's certainly available to the public. We encourage you to get one.
Yeah, here it is right here. I've got one. It's actually really well designed, super simple. Audrey, do you actually mind coming and get a camera shot of this guy, just so I can get a nice close-up of it? Home safety checklist: stay active, stay independent, and stay on your feet. Super easy stuff. It goes through each part of the home, your entrance, your home in entirety, living space, kitchen. And you said you guys can actually send these out to people if they're looking to kind of better their home?
Absolutely, absolutely. Available for everybody.
Now, the Northeast region is all-inclusive. When you were making this plan, did you guys talk to each one of the individual healthcare providers in these different places?
Well, we've talked to all the health units, so we meet on a regular basis, and we talk about what are the concerns in everybody's communities. So any of the messaging that goes out with the Stay on Your Feet strategy basically is uniform across the Northeast region. So we all say the same message, we promote the same commercials, the same posters, everything, all the initiatives that go about the strategy are all the same.
All right, and there's a lot of things that we can do to help make a senior's home more risk-free, but what if those seniors want to go and maybe get a little bit more active themselves? I know there's a few programs available throughout the city.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in the community in Sault Ste. Marie specifically, I coordinate the Stand Up exercise program, and that program is available to older adults, 65 plus. It's a free exercise program. You pre-register by calling myself at the health unit. It runs for 12 weeks, and it's basically focused on increasing muscle strength and balance. So that's what you'd like. You'd like people to be stronger so that they can hopefully prevent falls by being stronger individuals. They focus on the 9 preventable modifiable risk factors, which we probably don't have time to talk about today.
Right.
But there are various areas that we talk about in the program that help people highlight ways that they can stay on their feet. So that's one way, the Stand Up exercise program. There's also another program that's coordinated through the Victorian Order of Nurses, or the VON, in the community, a free exercise program as well on a drop-in basis, and that is more of a seated exercise program. So it doesn't have it's a good way, it's a good segue into stand-up, basically.
To get you moving, to get some muscles going and getting you a little bit stronger, getting you ready for it.
Exactly, because we know that motion is the lotion for our joints.
I like that, I like that.
So we want to make sure that people stay active, they stay moving, because that's one of the best ways that we can actually stay on our feet.
And you were saying a lot of people that take these programs are doing it and making it more of a social thing too.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're bound to make a friend. You're bound to have that social interaction. Some of them have a little social get-together after the 12 weeks are done, and they continue to do things together. They may have a walking group, they may get together, and they may have a cycling group. So there's ways that you can actually build in your social interactions by having a program like Stand Up.
What would you say to maybe a senior that's watching at home right now that's thinking, you know what, this sounds right, but I'm a little nervous, I'm not sure if I want to do it? What would you say to them?
Well, there is one other option. There's another program that is called From Soup to Tomato tomatoes, and you may find that a little amusing.
Right.
But it was developed by a diabetic educator in Espanola, and it's a program that you can actually do in your own home. So if you are not that person that likes the group environment and they want to go out and exercise with a whole bunch of people, then it's certainly one way that if you have a computer and you can get on YouTube, it's a great program that builds your muscle strength in the privacy of your own home.
And you're watching this right now on the internet, so I can only assume you'd have access to YouTube at the same time. But can you tell us a little bit why it's called Soup to Tomatoes? Because that was just such a foreign idea to me.
Absolutely. Everybody has cans of soup in their home.
Yes, of course.
So the premise was to use the soup cans as weights to help build muscle strength, and then you build yourself up to cans of tomatoes.
Right, the heavier weights, and you get a little bit
Exactly.
stronger, get that nice healthy pump on, get that summer bod rocking for sure.
For sure, for sure.
Now, how is the development of someone that's maybe started with a little bit off balance? Have you seen anybody grow and actually become a little bit more independent for themselves?
Well, we try to encourage people to give us a bit of a testimonial when they finish stand-up. And that has proven to be very successful because individuals see each other and themselves making a lot of progress from the time they do a pre-test when they start the program and a post-test after. So they've seen the difference that it makes. If they commit to the program, there are 3 parts. So you come to class, you basically have the discussion pieces, and then there's homework to do. So you have to practice at home.
Maybe you shouldn't have said that. Maybe you shouldn't have told them there's any homework to do.
We can call it something else, but homework is you do it at home. And basically they have to practice their exercises.
Okay.
And those that are committed do very, very well.
Really?
Yes.
So that's good to see. So that's going to be the first step in preventing people from falling. And I mean, that's going to be such a huge relief on maybe the hospital shoulders. Just one less thing that they know people are doing to take care of themselves, correct?
Correct. Correct.
So in our closing moments, we've only got a minute left. What would you say to someone right now that's going, you know what? I think I want to check it out. What would be their first step to getting on board with one of these programs?
Well, they can certainly give me a call at the health unit. We could talk about what's a good fit for them in terms of exercise, and hopefully that'll be on the road to a better, healthier lifestyle where they can stay active, stay independent, stay on their feet.
And what about me, someone with grandparents? What can I do to make sure that I can help them even when I'm not around necessarily?
Good point. Family members play a very important role in keeping their older, their parents and their grandparents healthier. You can certainly go through the home safety checklist. You can, have that conversation with them about ways to make their home more safe.
Helen, thank you so much for coming in on this Wellness Wednesday. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if you want to come in and keep us safe, I would love to have you back on again, and I'm sure Tim will. But we'll have you back right after this commercial break.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide. The average Canadian will spend their last 10 years in sickness. Change your future at makehealthlast.ca.
Dan LaPrade of KC Security. I know you're watching right now. You've created a monster. Why did you post this jingle to Facebook? Now he's coming up with more.
I got another one. Okay, so I found out that they have a best price guarantee.
Okay.
So here you go. Here's the newest jingle for KC Security, our sponsor for Mornings with Lou Ann and Tim. KC Security. With a best price guarantee, they'll match and beat any alarm response fee. Our friends at KC Security. Ding! There we go.
Hey!
Happy Wellness Wednesday. Stay well. We'll see you tomorrow for Bum Slide Thursday.
Wow, that was intense.
See you tomorrow.